So I wanted to go over sort of how the Brahma Viharas work, at least in my view, in terms of a both on the cushion and off the cushion practice. There's sort of a unity of how to work with these. And the main approach, or the first thing we do with any situation, is we start with upekkha, with equanimity, with acceptance. So whether we're in a meditation or we're out of meditation, walking around, if we're practicing, something is happening, acceptance is really the first stage. Because once we accept that we're here, we're more fully present, we're less defensive or reactive. So upekkha has a pretty grave importance. And again, this is why I stress it as a first practice, because to learn the acceptance really helps us to develop and cultivate equanimity, or a kind of balance, accepted balance. So once we accept the situation with upekkha, with equanimity, then we're either going to orient towards karuna if there's some form of suffering or difficulty happening, or mudita if something pleasurable, supportive, or successful is happening. So it's a matter of just employing based upon the situation. And this again is true for us as well. If we're suffering, then turning to karuna is the right next step. And karuna again is the tender holding of the suffering of human life. And whatever that is, as humans, as conditioned beings, we're going to suffer with, once we're born, we really begin to decay and head towards death. And as we age, we have, of course, physical issues. The body breaks down more. So there's a lot of opportunity for self-karuna. And then also mudita, really seeing another's joy and getting in deeper into that contact with unity. The undividedness is really what mudita is stressing. And all of these, of course, have their psychological benefit as well, which we've talked about, and I have in Buddha's Heart. But this is just sort of the simple way one works. Again, upekkha at the start, and then branching either karuna or mudita, and then finally metta. And metta, as I frame it, is really the mothership of love. It's the unconditioned universal love of the absolute. So being a function of the absolute, a quality of the absolute, means it's not conditioned. It's not dependent upon something happening to have it arise. It's always present. And also, we don't need to qualify for it, or nor can we be disqualified. So with conditioned results, they can be dependent upon our behavior. And with metta being unconditioned, it's not a consideration what we've done now or in the past or what we do in the future. This is always available to us. And the quality of metta that we're getting with or open to initially is innate goodness. That's why I slightly innovated the innate goodness practice as a standalone, because we're orienting towards metta. We're making direct contact with innate goodness itself without support phrases or category of beings. So that has its own benefit and cultivates innate goodness in us. So innate goodness, part of the benefit, is not conditioned. It's not dependent upon any behavior. And it puts us in touch with the quality of our deeper, true nature. So from the perspective of the absolute, everything that we can perceive or be aware of stems from and is enlivened from the unconditioned universal love, the pure love we call metta. And when we're working with our psychological issues, the various fears, anxieties, the anger, hatred issues we carry, all relate to some form of narcissistic relationship where we feel that core deficiency. We feel that sense of worthlessness or valuelessness, and we take it to be true. And we have all these ways of being to keep ourselves and others distracted from this place where we feel really a sense of emptiness, not in the Buddhist sense, but in this psychological or mental sense. We feel an emptiness, a lack there. And metta, particularly the innate goodness, is one of the ways that we begin to fill that sense of a hole or an emptiness, because it's an unconditioned source. It can satisfy a conditioned psychological state.